Uzazise mana apha ebahlalini.
Okay. Siyenza ngantoni qala interview ngesixhosa nesilungu?
That's how I prefer it mna.
Okay. No, that's fine. No, that's fine. Okay, so mna igama lam ngu Akhona Zilindlovu Ndungane. Ndizalwe eMthatha ngo-1981. Abazali bam ngu Zingisa Ndungane noShila Ndungane. So sikhule eMthatha ke ukufunda kwaseMthatha, and then ngo-95 samuva saya eMonti so gqibezela imfundo pha, and then safunda pha and sagqiba pha, and then ndakhe ndayofunda naseBhayi actually ePTech for some time, ndaphinda ndaye eMonti back again, and then ndawuphelela ePitori, so that's why ndi-based apha eRhawutini now currently.
Hayi ugqibile ishow yam ngolo hlobo, ugqibile ngohlobo.
Sayivala ngoku.
Yayiva. Yayikho ilenzeka is that ne I believe ba pha eMthatha ndingatsho uba ngumkhaya kuba ke ndisuka eMqanduli mna. Noko sozungayazi eMthatha. At the same time I believe pha eMthatha pha koma 4th 5th Avenue kanene.
Mna?
Yeah.
No,
Wood.
Thina kanye no ifamily ikhona ifamily ehlala eNawood yethu. So thina kanye ikhaya lethu seGqulu. I don't know if you are eGqulu. Ikhona indawo phakathi.
Sounds familiar though.
Yabona xa usemthatha uyaphuma eMthatha ubekade ubheke ePort John's.
Yes.
Ogqile eCorhane, then the next one iGqulu before you figure ibode to so thina see 10 k's outside eMthatha. So but then again obviously because ngabapha ifamily seNowood nase Blackway, so ngokhula kodwa sikhule eGqulu.
Oh okay, hayi ke either way umgobe engqawenye usengumkhaya ke qha ayichange.
Correct.
Yabo.
Correct, ayikho.
Now I believe eHudson eMonti ufunde eHudson. Yabo we had so many Hudsonians. Yabo.
Correct.
Now
best school in the Eastern.
Yeah, I beg to differ. So often. Now you see, that's what I want to find out because when you're in Cambridge, so now we call la rivalry between Hudson. Normally, it's always the first derby, yes, school rugby. Hudson the Cambridge.
Yes.
And I believe nothing
Yes, you're correct by that. Anyways, when I quiz. Funny enough, irugby uqala kwethu idlala siqale eMonti eHudson. eMthatha sasidla ngobulela kwedime. Yabona. So ndingatsho uba okay no italente sayifumana kuye igama lam. No uncle wethu from my mother's side naye wayedlala irugby. So unfortunately eMthatha apho sasifunda khona eSt Patrick's yayingekho irugby, sasidlala isoccer neathletics. So only xa sifike eHudson ke ngoku saqala pha. And njengoba usitsho ke now idabi zethu against Cambridge, you know umuntu noba kalalanga avuka udlala eCambridge sasiyazi bakutya kwethu.
hayi andivumi.
Yeah, but it was always nice playing against Cambridge because and then nechomi pha ulindele uvele eBhayi noKhaya, you know, playing against them with first team was always nice. You know, and irugby ayazi ke kumandi udlala against iitshomi zakho because xa niphuma ematchini i-breaking rights kuba mandi kazi ngapha kwecala lakho.
And ayazi kube khona la yabona ndifaka ishoulder lena.
Yeah, exactly.
Kunyuluka phana ndiyazi lawo yayiva.
Yeah.
Now
it was not as a mood.
Now ke ngoku i-movie yakho yase Monti to abeBhayi and then also ungena straight kwi-Elephants. Was it strictly out of luck kuba udlalela i-P-Tech? Was scoutwa i-Elephants okanye how did it go? How did it become yon?
So after high school sifunda Eastern Cape Tech no-Odwa, ne? And then u-Odwa got a contract yakhe from kwi-border. And mna, I got an offer from Mighty Elephants eBay. So I figured, well, they're covering my school fees, my varsity fees, so I might as well go, and they're gonna be paying me. So I spoke to my parents, and they agreed. So I did the move to eBay. I played for a club there, African Bombers. Played for under 21, Eastern Province, and then I spent between 2 and 3 years at Bai, up until the money offer back we border. So, and then I was like, hey, and funny enough, at the time, I got an offer from K-wizz. And I remember when I got the offer at border, I said, K-wizz, I phoned my dad that, hey, Dama, K-wizz is offering more money than a border, you know. But at time, I didn't like the coach here, K-wizz, at the time. So it was like, hey, Chief, you can go for more money, but if you're not happy, I also perform. And Jose Monti, you're not going to be using your money because of endlini, and you're going to be happy there because it was part. And, you know, thank God I listened to him because the parents here, Monti, and I really had a good time in Monti. And I think that's where I got to be recognized by e-Bulls and also SA7s.
And I'm not telling guys because in fact, because you actually before you get with Bulls, like as a full bona fide player, you contractor, you were on loan for 2 seasons.
Yes, because I think the guy who went to the Bulls before I did. 2000 and I think 2003 or 2004, I can't remember exactly. So Oda played 1 season Pagwe Bulls, and then after that, Onzakala, he played the Super 12 back then, and then Onzakala towards the end of the Super 12, and then going to the Currie Cup, he was not playing, and at the time I was playing for Border. And then what happened was he got an offer from the Sharks. Kevin Part was the coach there. And I remember chatting to him, I said, because now there's going to be a change of coaches at Pitoli. He's not sure if he's going to get a chance, and that's an offer. And he took the offer from the Sharks. And I remember, I think after that, I got a call from Uveni Stradon, who was the team manager then, saying, do I want to come up for trials with Bulls? So I was like, of course, why not? I'm in East London. I can always go back to Emond if it doesn't work out, but it's an opportunity because now when I get to Pretoria, I'll play and train with guys who are playing for the Boks at the time. Yeah, when I saw it was that I saw that could benefit me. So I went up, and I remember when I got to the Bulls, wings at the time, I think that's by 11 with squad. So, and for me, it was Dan Funanje Ubapa just to experience the trainings, experience how the guys do things. And obviously, I think that's of Funa Olosho, you know. And it wasn't about making the starting lineup. You know, if focus it was just putting my best foot forward. And I think once then no chance whenever it came. So, and fortunately, you know, first year I got to play with trials, and injuries, obviously, 11 players, Z-wing. So it kind of moved me up the ladder. And then I found a chance, you know, and, you know, I played the season up until no, I think you know. So I left an impression, which was nice. And I think, you know, the hard work and Ifagayo helped me, you know, to be able to find a permanent contract.
and kuyasetyenzwa ndawukholelwa ngabe ePretoria, but now having to be on loan at the same time wabizwa kwi-sevens, how did you juggle that?
Yeah, I think, as any player, edlala rugby or be it soccer, be it any sport, you want to represent your country. And, to dlala for is Springbok Sevens, for me, I didn't see it as something that, I dreamt of doing, or I never thought, well, okay, I'll play sevens. Obviously, my goal was to play the 15s. But I thought sevens can also help you in terms of improving your game, in terms of your skills, your fitness, your defense, because obviously it's 7 players against 7. So when I got the call from Paul True, I said, come through for trials, and then I got to the squad. I think Ndai Tata, with both hands, because I knew about, I'm representing my country. I have to give everything, and it's an opportunity to showcase, because it's sevens, most you get to travel, you get to play in Hong Kong, England, France. You never know who's watching. So, I played, I think, about 5 or 6 tournaments. And fortunately, we won one tournament, and I ended Singapore. So which was something very nice, and especially it's now when I look back, say I've got a gold medal sevens.
Because it debut was in London sevens.
No, it was Hong Kong.
Hong Kong
sevens, yeah. And I remember, I can't remember actually, so I was on the bench for that game, and then when I came on, I think the last 2 or 3 minutes. But in the and I think because it's sevens, they're different. You need to understand which lines to run. You can't. And I think that's what I did, because I was excited. It's my debut. I want to impress the coach, and I was running everywhere. Like 2 minutes felt like 14 minutes. But it was a nice experience, because you get to learn and understand about, okay, no, you mustn't run there. You must wait, keep your line. But it was a very good experience for me. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
And I understand by sevens, just because you've got ample space does not mean sesakho sonke. Technically it is, but I'm not about kumbumbumbu. But now going straight to Blue Bulls game, culture shock from Imonti to Blue Bulls. I remember East London got darky majority of Eastern Cape.
Correct.
But now, Kamangamla ngoku why isibhulu sithi ndilapha. Yabo so ke ngoku how do ithathe ixesha kanjani to actually transition into that space?
Yep. Well, I think let me start it here. Into eMonti ngondaki ne ngabantu abamnyama mostly, and kuthethwa isiXhosa nesilungu, akho Afrikaans. And if I look back now, into zikaThixo sometimes xa senzekayo uziboni, but in the long run, when you look back, you realize, okay, this is why this thing happened like this. Because when I went to PE for that 2-3 years, kugcwele amakhaladi pa, correct, and Afrikaans. So I picked up Afrikaans for that 2 years, 3 years I was there. So xa ndifike ePitori sisibhulu waya. So la 2 years ndispende eBhayi ikwazile undinceda kancinci so that ndingabikho completely lost, because I remember like uTiger Mangweni, he spent his lifetime eMonti. So when he moved from East London to Bulls, he struggled a little bit to adjust, because the Afrikaans ayikho eMonti. So for me, yandinceda like 2-3 years yaseBhayi to be able to understand, so that ndikwazi ukuva abakuthwani, because ePretoria from training, video session, team talks, yonke into it's Afrikaans, program Afrikaans. So it took me a while to actually be able to understand it. And I think because I had Uhanika Meyer as my coach for the first 4 or 5 years, now, funny enough, and then I understand that because I think to Mamele all the time, you get to understand and pick up the way he speaks. Funny enough, let's say we get someone outside to come and do a presentation, then he shut it down because then I'm understand. Yeah, but I think it took me a while to adjust because obviously now I have to find Ichomezinja. It's a new city. Now it's a big city. But I must also add that Bulls players and management also helped because they didn't isolate me. I didn't feel like I'm outsider. They were welcoming. They would invite me to Wibrizabo. They would, just make me feel welcomed. And I think it's because they kind of saw, okay, I added value to the team. So they wanted me to be part of the team, and that was who adjust and get into be part of the squad and the team. And after Namke, I could understand Kakle and be able to relate to them.
All right, but now you also played obviously with Uhapana. I saw we Lions again as well.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever compete? Because I found in the share when wiki kodwa noba u11 ndakushiya kodwa wena qhaqwa.
Yes.
Because obviously you guys also won Ikari Cup as well as Super Rugby, Super 14 at 2007.
Yes. No, I think Brian is one of the best wingers to ever come from the Bulls and to play for his Springboks. And his dead side are there for everyone to see. And I think, at trainings, that's about corners of competition where, you want to say, hey, Chief, how's Emva? That's a nice, healthy competition. And I think, Londo yasipusha to be able to, because Sasiti is matching and sit atumdu, no, I'm going to get more tries than you. So Londo Leo, it pushed us because you don't want to be after the game and say, I got 3 tries and you got 1. So it was a nice, healthy competition. And like I said, there were other great wingers at the Bulls. Daniel Diamas, just to name a few, John Mameta. So Kwagumandi could practice because I think in a way, no one wanted the other guy to get injured. It was a big squad. And I think Uhanika Meyer was able to manage the whole players because if you look with squad as it needs, sometimes there is that competition where Umdu will say, you must get injured or you're not performing well or doesn't want to assist you in terms of training, doing extras. But, at Tina Paya, it was all about what the team needs. If Mklambi I needed to catch high balls after training, I would get to John to kick up and unders. I would get to Heine Adams to kick up and unders. So I think, the team environment, was key for us, and I think that's why such successful Gago at the time at the Bulls, because there was no superheroes at the time. It was all about what we need to do to achieve and to win trophies for the team.
Now you see, there's always the big hype when it comes to North and South derbies, Gomez and Blue Bulls. And I think his dad's Pana. You guys are just lucky by a few games more than his Thomas.
Lucky. Why can you play? You create your own luck. The harder you play, the more luck you get.
But now, Coco, this particular game, I think, I'm not sure I cut a game when I final can't remember specifically, but Itama was interviewed and he was asked how he feels and whom he wants to win that game. Yes, he was interviewed. He said, "Kumbule game, but I think a final man. Same way, final. Either a carry cup or a super rap. I think a carry cup. So against Sorry.
Yes.
Yes. Now you guys became victors of that game. Yes.
Correct.
For you,
I think it was a 12 final.
And what?
12-7, Super 15 final. Super
14. I think you, but then Sharks got.
Yes, at Durban, yes.
Yes, that's the one. So do you, as I mean, Nina and grand.
Yeah, I don't know.
So good.
4 seconds.
But now for you, emotionally, you've been playing against him throughout the season, but now he finally. How did that particular victory feel like? I mean, it was like a whole of victory where you enjoy the win, but I mean, being asked and I could have shared within the same space.
Yeah. Hey, that's a question. That's a tough question. And when I look back, go 12-7, I was still younger. Now you always and the competition was because I think endly itime my brothers bonke bazi Sharks, so old lady ke nalo nangona ezi Sharks, but she had to hey, okay, I've got onyunyano sePitori, so akanoba yedwa pha, nama ndibuwele ngapha ndiyomsupport. So kwakumnandi to actually win and xa ndihleli nabo endlini, because now I've got the trophy and baninzi ngapha ku-odwa, and I think now when I look back, you obviously you wish, because like you said, I wish Naye could win the Super Rugby, but unfortunately he didn't. But he did achieve some great things in his career, and there can only be one winner. So Dynamic cabinet is much better, but even though you might not agree, but we look back now, we were very blessed, Shane, and we're very content about, okay, at least we got to be at that level to play for the Springboks, and Order won British and Irish Lions,
yes,
against them. He won the Tri-Nations, won the Currie Cups. So those are great achievements for him, so I'm sure you look back match at hey, they should have won it, because if you look at that game, Konindo Fama Zaba wrong, Uref was posa, but at Kobeleni, the record book says Bulls won 2019.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But now,
correct.
Now here's the thing. I've got a few pictures, Pana. The way Lubon is Apple. I'm not liking a props when a shame. When it comes to Lenders, big hits, because I'm going to be in Japan, especially against this Thomas. Yeah, boy.
So the pictures, Zalondo.
Well, uqinwa kuyo uqomatiza ucimele yangena the shoulder, but in any case, the one thing that still stands out to Odwa, in fact, wagapha ibhola phezu kwe-try line, offload ifuna ku-edit. Yes, that's the one. Yes. Now, we bukele la game, and I'm sure ibukele, probably maybe with family. What was your reaction? Because it has like feeling fuleka mhlaba ndingene.
And funny enough, I think Sasi New Zealand or Australia. So we're watching the game, and obviously, Saslen with my teammates. And when Odwa, clear try line, no one to stop. But yena, and in at the time, it's humid there. And I've played the Pango Feb match, that ball, but not making excuses for him, because that was a fumble. Kakulu, I did feel bad for him, because it happened like early in the game. But you know what, when K-wizz, if you watch that game, yeah, he did that Mumish, but he's the one that scored that try in the corner
Yes.
for Rwanda to kick over the conversion. Yeah, so bonisa laa nto uba yazi ebomini you will get times where into engahambi ngohlobo lakho, but it doesn't mean you must hide away, because he could have easily just don't want to be next to the ball, and uyakwazi erabhini uyibaleka ibhola to go the other side, but he put it behind him because mistakes will happen in the game, and he able to overcome that mistake, and we're going to try, and now ayisakhumbuleki because at the end they won the game. They won, but you know, I did feel bad for him, shame, and but now at Kobeleni it was funny because winning, and now we can laugh about it.
Asokulibali nawe wathi ubeka ibhola aba casual.
Hayi senza nakumani lento.
Yewe, asukuyeka because wathi ubeka ibhola literally ayibeka. Awulibali uscorile kanti ibi knock on. You know those mild knock ons sephithwa ndikhumbula lo game.
Hayi ayikho mlungu, hayi never.
I am telling you.
No, don't try and balance the scales here, Chief.
No. It was similar. I remember Utana Umaga did exactly the same thing. Ebeka phansi kwebhali. But yayityhibilika ibhola kuye esandleni. But again, ndiyakuxelela.
Hayi, uzukuyisearch uze nayo. Hayi andikhumbuli.
But in any case, moving on to international rugby, obviously waqala phaa kwi-SAA.
Yes.
And then, of course, you went on to play 11 tests for his Springboks. And your biggest milestone was winning a World Cup. The call up to his Springboks, you know, for you, was that your biggest dream in actually green and gold?
Yes. And I think I said Chilo earlier on that, you know, the work you put in, the amount of hours in the gym, extra sessions afterwards, physio, rehab, you know, all of those things as the player, you want to be at the top, which is playing for his Springboks. And, you know, when I received the call and I knew that now I've sort of in the squad, says Springboks, you know, then you feel that, okay, not relieved, but there's a satisfaction that you have because you know that, okay, at least now all the work that you've put in, it got you to this place. But in a way, hard work only starts then because, you know, we understand Akhona Springboks where they only play one cap. Akhona is like O'Brien and Beast that play over 100 games, you know. So, and for me now, obviously, I wanted to play as many as I can, but you know, playing 11 tests is you know, I'm not complaining because I got to play against England, New Zealand, Australia, you know, some of the best countries that play the game. So, you know, I knew that I had to actually, you know, put in the work as well, you know, just try and lift the game to the next level. And I remember, you know, I made my debut against Australia, but it's one to forget because it was not a game, you know. But I think I remember, you know, before the game, because obviously now you at a different level. It's test rugby now. You're not playing Super Rugby or Currie Cup. Now the whole country is behind you and you're representing the whole country. It's not only Pretoria and some others around the country, it's everyone. But I think what I kept telling myself is that as Chep, Nazo a couple of months before with Super Rugby. So I shouldn't look at this game as a big game, but just go out and try and give my best. And then Izundo will happen, but unfortunately, we got a very big hiding from the Australian side. So it was also a learning curve for me because, it showed me that at that level, you can't afford to make silly mistakes, and I feel like we were not mentally there for that game. Hence, we got such a big hiding. And to play at that level, you have to be switched on for the whole 90, 80 minutes. You can't switch off because those guys will punish you. That's how it is there. So, yeah, and then I got to play 11 tests for the Springboks, which was amazing.
And then I will assume that the 2007 World Cup, to you, look, we all want game time as players, but winning the World Cup was a priority goal. So to you, it didn't matter that you had played 1 or 2 games within the World Cup.
Not at all, it didn't. And I think what made it not to matter to me is how Jake and John Smith, the captain, made the World Cup all about the squad. They kept on emphasizing, but it's gonna take more than 22 players to win this thing. It's the whole 30-man squad. And hence I'm saying that even though I played one game in tournament Yonke, I still felt like I played my part because, at training, I have to try and defend. I have to try and beat the guys to test them, for the weekend that's coming. So, I got to play against the USA. We won. And, sitting there at Paris watching the final and winning it. Even though for me, I joined the squad where Jake started in 2004 with some of the guys. I came in 2006, 2 years later. I could still see that, Jake had a plan from the start. And that plan was a 4-year plan. And in 2007, in France, we got to realize that plan. And, even though there were times where Usaru wanted to fire him, with John Smith, they were saying, no, John should not be the captain. And that's how the media is. But, we managed to shut everything out and push up until Saifman and Aweb Ellis. And I think, but for me, I think that the best moment about the World Cup was coming back here. Because I could relate to what Usia did now with his team when they came back, just seeing the support, just seeing the country united. And I think when once you get to do the tour in the country, then you get to see blacks, whites, coloreds, Indians, just standing in the streets, cheering. Then, you understand why you do this thing we're doing, why we put in the hours, why we wake up at 5, because it's all for this, to see the smiles, the kids cheering and, giving us thumbs up. For me, that was the best thing about the whole 2007 World Cup.
Ewe ke ndizokuyeka ke uzikhuphe kuleyana kahabhana around wengungwenye.
Hey!
Wazikhupha pha wazokukhuthe yona kwi-60th minute more so.
No, I was playing.
No, I remember wawudlala.
If you look, I'll send you that clip. I think my brother sent it to me, or my cousin. And O'Brien Paya, O'Brien backed himself, ne? And I think one underestimated Ungwenya, because as a winger, you don't want to give the opposition the outside gap. You want to close the outside, push him back on the inside. And I was inside him, no Jacques Fourie. So we expected him to push to close the outside, but Brian just wanted to see it. I think why from tester and get
blind.
Chief, was saying yes, sprint up.
Lastly, it brings us to a set end here where you joined into Upaga as well, and it became part and parcel of it. How did Ukawunda and Ndungane? I mean, he's such an angok, but it was a commentary will never be the same.
Definitely.
But with you, and briefly explain the relationship here and Nobabini. what you learned from rugby to that space?
Yeah, yeah, it was a shame. You know, he left us. Singamcingelanga, you know, that he would leave us. But I guess that's life, and it's something that we have to accept. And I was saying I think to my younger brother, because I think a WhatsApp group that had him and some other mates, Zabo, that, you know, every time I see a photo that I'm with him, or, you know, I still can't believe, but he's gone. But I think Ukawunda, you know, the time I got to spend with him at Supersport, because before that, you know, I didn't Maz Kawunda from the rugby cycles and Sasnogolo, but I got to know him more when I started working for Supersport. And I could see that Ukawunda, you know, was a very passionate man. And he had his beliefs, and he fought for those beliefs. And, you know, it was all for the better of the Xhosa commentary. And, you know, he started the Xhosa commentary with Sir Jack. And I think, you know, I saw that they started in 2009 with the British Lions. So now next year would have been the full circle. That's what they call it, when the British Lions come into the country. You know, and you know, and I think everyone was looking forward to those sort of celebrations. And I think because Ukawunda fought so much to push Xhosa commentary, now he opened the way for other guys to come in. You know, like Black, Lonwabo Mtinka, Kaya Malotana. You know, so yeah, now he played his role. You know, and you know, one thing that I must say that I got to learn from him, you know, Ukawunda did his research. And I think that's why he was so great at what he did. Because if you go out there and you speak to millions of people, you need to know what you're talking about. You need to understand. You need to do your stats. And that's what Ukawunda did. And I think, you know, he, like you said, it was a commentary won't be the same. But yeah, now we need to celebrate and say he did his part, and, you know, Simkhulule. And then, you know, and I think, you know, just to add on to, you know, his wife, just to, you know, pray that she finds comfort and strength, because obviously, you know, they were expecting the second baby. So I can only imagine how tough it must be for them. But, you know, let's celebrate Ukawunda, because Ukawunda was a happy person, man. You know, he loved to party, he loved to, you know, he was just happy, just full of life. So I think Nati, we can just look back and just celebrate his life.
Sizobabukela abantu abaphaka into eziyumiyumi because iphuma phaa
Yes, yes, correct.
Kayiko ndiyabulela kakhulu uma nexesha lakho nosipha ixesha eli. Yebo.
No.
In general, I always pose a challenge ke mna ke